settled. second, but Cadet finally coming to play now. The 44 goes up into second.
Mark up ahead with Jim Dixon, who is 11 laps in, still in the mid 204, 204.5 last time around. Cadet has been into the box, and this is not the 11th lap of his run. It's 8th time he's done, but I think he has been in the mid, so. And like we've seen a couple of times, he was back in Hungary when he was absolutely nowhere in FP2, jumping up towards the end of that session, but potentially into play. We were mentioning yesterday that
Championship. It has been a wonderful Moto2 season to watch. Grand Prix to play out to decide who will be our world champion. Gonzalez, who has won the World Championship since Jerez back in April. That was when he took the World Championship lead from Aaron Canet, who briefly led after his victory in Qatar. Diego Moreira has never led the Moto2 World Championship. In fact, he's never led any Grand Prix World Championship. He was once level with Danny Holgado at the top of the Moto3 standing. Holgado led the championship because he won more races. So Moreira looking to break new ground in Grand Prix racing. There couldn't be better times to do it than right in the final closing rounds of a season-long championship battle. Here comes Danny Munoz. He's now moved up into third place, which in fairness was where Munoz sat before he crashed yesterday afternoon.
This is nothing to on. First time after sets at the national circuit. Whether we'll see Dennis Hunter back for his kind of swan song with the IO squad in Portimao and Valencia. We did see this was present in Jerez last weekend when Tom Scabiola, his friend, Patrick, training partner, was doing the World Championship. It's a good deal of Manny Gonzalez in this session. He's just getting a little harder shape there through turn number 9. Maybe a small sign of
weekend where Manu Gonzalez needs to halt the Moreira momentum and begin to stamp his authority on this Moto2 World Championship battle once again. And it certainly, from the evidence of yesterday afternoon, suggests that Diogo Moreira is perhaps playing catch-up to his chief title rival so far here. It's Lewis Sullivan and Neil Morrison with you, of course, for Moto2 free practice 2. And a very interesting session coming up. Of course, Q2 places are decided, but we'll... On this Moto2 World Championship battle once again. And it certainly, from the evidence of yesterday afternoon, suggests that Diogo Moreira is perhaps playing catch-up to his chief title rival so far here. It's Lewis Sullivan and Neil Morrison with you, of course, for Moto2 free practice 2. And a very interesting session coming up. Of course, Q2 places are decided, but we'll perhaps get another window into weekend where Manu Gonzalez needs to halt the Moreira momentum.
Capital called up for 2 cracking qualifying sessions up next live before the 5 medals in Malaysia takes place in the sprint. It's time for MotoGP. So the Sepang International Circuit, what a track this is. It's super fast in parts, heartbreaking in parts, flowing for the majority, 5.54 kilometres layout, 3.4, 4 miles, 15 corners, 10 of them right, 5 of them left, heartbreaking into turns 1 and into turn 9, both offer good overtaking opportunities. A couple of riders been caught out by that tricky left-hander turn 2 yesterday, being our fastest rider on day 1, Pedro Costa. Again, magic time down through turn 12 and into turn 3 in particular. Most demanding braking points, 1.
weekend where Manu Gonzalez needs to halt the Moreira momentum and begin to stamp his authority on this MotoGP World Championship battle once again. Certainly from the evidence of yesterday afternoon suggesting that Diogo Moreira is perhaps playing catch-up to his chief title rival so far here. It's Lewis Sotheby and Neil Morrison with you, of course, for Moto2 Free Practice 2. And a very interesting session coming up. Of course, Q2 places are decided, but we'll perhaps get another window into
Costa has led the way on day one, was on our first visit to the Balaton Park circuit in Hungary, just shortly after the summer break. It was a bit of an unpredictable day yesterday, with some mixed weather around, some rain that fell towards the back end of the Costa. It was that led the way. A Honda in second place thanks to Gian Zarco, a Yamaha in third, with Jack Miller finding his way up into the top three. Flamir was fourth on another Honda. Fabio Quartararo, four Japanese bikes inside the top five at the end of day one. Top Ducati was the Gian Antonio in sixth, just ahead of his VR46 teammate Frankie Morbidelli. Also taking through to Q2, Paul Espargaro shining once again, deputising for Maverick Vinales. Alex Marquez, like a Costa, had two crashes yesterday. And Alex Rins, who despite a last lap crash at turn 5, just crept into that all-important top 10. Q1, well, it is stacked. They're always stacked, aren't they, these days, Q1 sessions. Marini, Bagnaia, Aldeguer, and Marco Bezzecchi, who's been fastest on our last 3 Fridays prior to yesterday. 4 riders to keep a close eye on for the upcoming Q1 session. Phillip Island Grand Prix winner Raul Fernandez also has to go through Q1. Only 2 spots available, of course, coming out of that opening 15-minute session. 30 minutes, though, of practice to off sprint Saturday, first and foremost in the company of Matt Burton and Lewis Sotheby in the commentary box. Jack Appleyard down the lane, 157.559 from Acosta, despite his 2 slip-offs yesterday. Putting top of the pile, just on the 200 clear of Gian Zarco, one of 5 riders. They're able to find laps of 57 yesterday.
Yeah, very difficult to know truly what we learned yesterday. In truth, so unusual to see the kind of run that we did. Of course, we had the rain shower midway through the session, which interrupted practice and potentially created a mini-qualifying session in the final 10 minutes as everyone rushed out when the rain stopped to try and get a lap in. A few made mistakes on their final runs and find themselves in qualifying 1. Alex Marquez, despite a mistake of his own pre-rain shower, does find himself in qualifying 2 on a day when he could, if he wins the sprint later on, be crowned as the runner-up of the MotoGP World Championship, completing Marquez's brotherly 1-2.
It was an eventful day for 4 of our top 10 yesterday. Costa fastest, 2 crashes. Alex Marquez creeping into Q2, 2 crashes. Jackson and Alex Rins on Yamaha also despite stumbles across the opening day yesterday. Well, Marco Bezzecchi's Fast Friday form completely deserted him yesterday, didn't it? Fastest on Friday in Japan, likewise in Mandalika and Phillip Island. There's been work to do on a factory in front of the extreme, get the power to the ground on around some of the hard acceleration zones here in Sepang. 50 yesterday was Bezzecchi, over 8/10 behind Acosta.
Also with work to do is Pecco Bagnaia, who's not quite as disconsolate as he was in Australia when he crashed out of the Grand Prix. So no need for Pecco to read that. He posted it on Instagram earlier in the week. Certainly doesn't feel as bad as he did in Indonesia or in Australia, but clearly nowhere near as strong as he was in Motegi. Bagnaia in qualifying 1 once again. But that was perhaps more down to an error on his part and not maximising that final time, particularly in the final sector. Bagnaia just not quite getting the ideal run through there. He did have the speed to be qualifying 2. But stacked Q1, which featured the last 3 Grand Grand Prix winners.
Sixth time this year, Bagnaia finds himself in our opening qualifying session. Ralph Fernandez, of course, we've now had back-to-back first-time winners in our last two Grand Prix. First time that's happened in 5 years. Looking out again, the male in Mandalika, Ralph Fernandez was superb, wasn't he? Less than a week ago, down under in Australia. But Fernandez was only 16th fastest. Another rider on the Italy that was struggling to find some real grip, particularly on that corner exit. No problemos whatsoever though on practice Friday for Johan Zarco. Good to see him back at the sharp end. Good to see him riding with some confidence once again. Confidence has been drained away over a period of races, but yesterday, certainly in terms of the front feeling, Zarco looking much like his old self. Second quickest, there was a couple of times we picked up Zarco on his hot laps, and he was spectacular to watch, wasn't he? He was going all in for that Q2 spot. And the second time this year on a Friday, Zarco's been inside the top 3 along with the Czech Grand Prix Renault.
It really was. Both of the French riders really going for it yesterday, second and fifth. Fabio Quartararo taking that 5th place. Of course, there'll be nobody ruling him out when we get to qualifying 2 in about an hour and a quarter from now. But Fabio Quartararo, who's receiving an early proposal on this Saturday morning. I think he's nodding at the question that's just being put as well. I'm not sure he's seen that on the screens, although she certainly is taking that as an acceptance. But either way, Fabio Quartararo, his greater concerns at the moment are a Yamaha that's not quite behaving how he wants. 5th place does paper over some of the cracks really from Quartararo's point of view. No real feeling, no real pace, he said, on quite a slippery Sepang track yesterday. So Quartararo might find himself high in the grid, but once again feels he's going to be slipping back down the order once he does it.
It's fair to say those two are genuine hardcore Fabio Quartararo fans. I do know those two. I'll name check them as well to made the journey from Australia. Welcome guys. So many Australians have travelled to this Sepang International Circuit for this 20th round of the campaign. Brad Binder, another big name, lots of South Africans here this weekend to support the Rebel Cajun Factory Racing rider. It was a real tough practice for the majority of that hour-long session yesterday for Binder, who was stuck right at the wrong end of the time sheets. He did rally late on and find a 58.739. That was only good enough though to ping Binder up into 17th place. And once again the message comes loud and clear out of KTM, including from the fastest rider Pedro Acosta. Demonstrating what the one-lap pace, but Acosta once again fearing the dreaded tyre wear might be the undoing of KTM, particularly over the full race distance of 20 laps here tomorrow.
The sprint, doesn't it, later on? But of course, he's got to qualify well too. And the chance of that, Pedro Acosta on a pretty good sprint run. Podiums in 2 of the last 3 sprints. Just took the podium back in Brno and Austria too. So Saturday's a practice where Pedro Acosta is doing the best work. Saturday, that is. Of course, we haven't seen him in the front row or the grid all season long. It's today his best chance to change that.
7 of his last 8 Grand Prix finishes have been top 5. Only 3 podiums in the last 8 Grand Prix. It's a 30-minute practice session, then gets underway. It's been destroyed the weekend so far, really, here in Sepang. We haven't been really blessed with too much blue sky since the track opened yesterday morning. MotoGP FP2. And once again, the MotoGP pack head out on field for FP2 under rather overcast and grey, gloomy conditions. It is at least keeping it relatively cool by Sepang standards. Almost real oven-like conditions, air dry-like conditions when you're racing MotoGP bikes around this 5.5 kilometre Sepang International Circuit, but that heavy cloud cover at least has made it feel somewhat cooler than usual.
And what we're also seeing as a result of that, track temperature yesterday in practice was only 37 degrees. You don't expect track temperatures in excess of 50 here in Sepang, particularly when the sun is out. It means that they're not really switching that medium rear tyre on when they go out on it, which means that we could have a scenario tomorrow where the vast majority of the field actually race the soft rear tyre. It does have quite an appreciable drop on it, because of course that will be expected to be ran in qualifying, also in the sprint this afternoon. But with the medium so slow, riders are finding that it's perhaps better off just taking the pain of the soft rear tyre drop, because you're too far behind by the time the medium comes in. If you start on that tyre, looking at the tyre sheet in this free practice 2 session, everyone's gone out on track with the exception of Alex Marquez so far. We've only got got three riders who've gone out on that rear tyre. Sanjay Chancha, Juan Mir and Fermin Aldeguer. Everybody else has gone out on the soft rear.
Aldeguer was in somewhat of a false position, he felt yesterday. Felt that there was plenty more to offer than 13th fastest. Aldeguer's best time in that practice session coming on lap 3. He really missed out late on whenever he was in sort of panic mode, time attack mode, when the mixed weather was coming. Fastest for the first time on a Friday morning in his MotoGP career. Keep an eye on Aldeguer, he's going to be a big contender for one of those two spots to get directly out of P1 coming up later on this morning. Excellent Friday once again with Juan Mir. He was a super happy, so the RT213V factory Honda worked straight out to the pit lane yesterday. And when that thing arrives, all you can do is make minor adjustments on the bike. You're not chasing your tail in terms of the setup. An awesome front feeling, allows you to play with the bike when corner range 3. Keep an eye on Mir. We've already seen on this overseas tour. He's up with HRC in Japan. Looks like he's going to be a big contender for the podium at the sprint and the Grand Prix here tomorrow. Well, Pedro Acosta, another great performance by the 21-year-old Spaniard yesterday. 2 crashes, but he puts himself on the finish in the P1 on day 1. Heading in that battle for pole position and sprint glory on the thoughts. Anyway, who's with Jack? Good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning to everybody. I'm sure Pedro will be desperately hoping to be in that fight for pole position. Of course, remarkably, Aki has not had a front row start all year long. It's about time we see him on the front row, right?
For sure, it's time. Really, all of us, Monday was, the morning was a little bit for nothing, and afternoon, let's say, we started. It was yesterday, especially for Pedro, that he finds a rhythm, quite key. It was good laps here.
When Pedro came to speak to us yesterday, he was speaking about how proud he was in the information he was giving to the team, how his feedback he felt has improved a lot throughout the year. Can you just let us know in what ways his feedback has improved to allow him to get to the point where he's showing such a consistent level now?
For sure, I think I mentioned it already before how Pedro grow up. We have to remember it's his second year, not even dying in the GP class, and how he grew up during the year, how he grew up during his career, everything happened quick, and of course after last year, finishing here, maybe the end of the year was a disappointment for him, and it was very weak to but especially during summer, I would say that Arsenal, after Arsenal, really happy about the working
Of course, going into tomorrow, his entire life he has been a big question with regards to KTM. You had some problems with it over here for the test in February. Recent Grand Prix, it's been a challenge as well. Does that mean today is the big opportunity for you guys?
It's exactly like you say, that a few races like, and also last race in Australia, it was an issue for us on Sunday. So of course that's the main focus, so one main point to focus now, and unfortunately yesterday we didn't get laps as planned, but let's continue.
Good luck, Aki. Have a good one.
Jack, thank you as always to Aki Ayo, replicating back to the racing boss. Thankful for me reading out this statistic now. 90 Grand Prix since KTM was last victorious in a dry MotoGP race. Can Pedro Acosta be our third different first-time winner in the last 3 Grand Prix, over 20 laps here? Tomorrow there's going to be some fierce competition. Certainly it looks like Honda could be in the game. Luca Marini, another big name that's going to try and get out of that heavyweight Q1 session coming up shortly. Marini's close, really close, just 600ths away from looking at Alex Rees.
We go to qualifying one later on with so many good things in it. We're going to guarantee to see some previous winners outside the top 4 rows of the grid. Bezzecchi, Fernandez, Bagnaia, Fiore, very strong yesterday. Marini, Bastianini, who's had some recent qualifying problems. Only room for 2 of them that are going to come through that Q1 session later on. And at least 2 of those who you feel have got the potential to fight for victory this weekend. Aldeguer is one of them. Who knows whether Luca Marini could be 2 as he goes into second place in the session, and Pecco Bagnaia potentially another 2. As mentioned, Bagnaia in Q1 for perhaps a slightly different reason this weekend than he had in recent Grand Prix. It doesn't look anywhere near the depths of despair that we saw from Bagnaia in Indonesia. Malaysia and in Australia. But once again, he finds himself with a extra 50 minutes of work ahead of him and not an easy route through into Q2 either.
Loves the Sepang circuit though. Bagnaia won that active battle with Jorge Martin last year to take his 50th MotoGP podium. Yellow flags out in sector one. It's Ayagura, the track MotoGP rider that's gone down quickly at back uprights. Looks like a little front end washout at turn one for Agura. To build on a 2:00.343. Was the Japanese rider 14th yesterday at the end of play. Was Agura-san. Last time out in Australia, 11 points, finishing a Grand Prix in 14 starts. It's the two top six so far in this rookie season. As Fabio Quartararo moves up into P2 with a 158.797. Pretty pessimistic he sounded yesterday. Quartararo said this circuit super slippery, greasy, no grip, means no great pace as far as Yamaha concerned. He was really worried the potential of an overnight rain would wash away all of yesterday's rubber and send the M1 back to square one. Maybe the lap times, obviously we're not in sort of time attack mode when we saw mid-57 yesterday, but yeah, the times I think have been a lot slower than what we were anticipating, given the fact that the track not really offering optimal grip so far this weekend.
Yeah, last year here, Sepang Malaysia took pole position, one of those incredible qualifying sessions head-to-head that we saw through the year with Jorge Martin. It was a 1:56.337. We're still over a second away from that in terms of the back-to-back we've seen this weekend. It cost us 57.5 yesterday. It's Robbie Green, we're over 2 seconds away from that in this session with riders focusing on the race. And of course, what we saw yesterday with the rain midway through the session, most riders did get a decent chunk of homework in, but some had to abandon their sort of race preparation yesterday in practice, their setup work, their understanding of tyre degradation, because they had to go early on a soft rear tyre to try and dodge any rain that was coming.
Quartararo having a pretty good start to the sprint Saturday. They're on board with it now, down through turn 12. Rapid old corner, that more yellow flags out in the first sector. We've already seen Agura go down at the first corner. Sector one is where Alex Marquez is just approaching on the 73. Yellow flags out once again in that one section. Alex, just before he headed into that first corner, it's Augusto Fernandez then on the development for powered Wistar M1. That's the second of the weekend for Augusto. He was on the floor yesterday at turn 9. What about a fellow Yamaha rider? Third at the moment for Quartararo. This might well be the fastest time so far. Not quite, it was close, really close. Just 4 thousandths of a second he is behind Aldeguer. We've got 3 rides actually that fired in 1:58.7. Aldeguer, Quartararo and Alex Marquez. Less than 300s covering that top 3.
Very bit of a face of thunder at times, isn't he, Fabio Quartararo, so far this weekend. The stopwatch at the moment is telling him a fairly good story. Of course, it's more interesting, I think, to see what kind of lap times these riders are doing at the end of the session and just what kind of drop-off we see on that soft rear tyre as to whether it is a viable race option. I think ideally the riders would want to go for the soft if it will go the distance with the medium. So it isn't really gelling, it's really firing up on the Sepang Malaysia circuit, which doesn't have the kind of track temperature that we're used to around here. Aldeguer is on that medium wheel though at the moment, a brand new medium wheel to start the session. And he's continuing to lap fairly consistently at the moment in the high 158. So 58.7 is his best of the session, which is near enough matched on lap 5.
A few riders yesterday were referencing how bumpy that first corner is now around this current surface at Sepang. I wonder whether that might be a factor that's caught out Agura and Augusto Fernandez. Tight at the top end of the gap between Alex Marquez and Agura. 4th place, fastest ride on Friday with Pedro Acosta. His crew chief Paul Sabathan. There is Augusto Fernandez, who like Agura was able to really pick up that crashed Wistar M1. Hasn't even bothered coming back into the pits. Yeah, just a little tip up on the right hand side with the aid of a bunch of our volunteer marshals doing sterling work as always. Just looked like maybe the front brake protector was knocked off there for Augusto Fernandez. As another Yamaha test rider, Andrea De Vecchioso, looks on. Sort of a key memory now of Yamaha's backroom team, not only riding and developing that V4 powered M1, but also now sort of a consultant, advisor, mentor role, call it what you will, offering some advice to the likes of Fabio Quartararo and Alex Rins and co.
It's fair to say that V4 Yamaha didn't necessarily receive rave reviews yesterday from Augusto Fernandez did describe it as a bit of a hard day at the office. And of course, we are heading into a very crucial month now for Yamaha, with the Valencia test coming up in 24 days now. The Tuesday after the Valencia Grand Prix, Fabio Quartararo is going to want to see some genuine evidence that that bike can take him to podiums and victories next season. As Bezzecchi's certainly pushing his career through turn 14, but at the moment the V4 Yamaha is still running at maybe 60-70% of its overall capabilities. They're eventually going to have to tune that thing up to 100% and show Fabio what it's capable of.
Yeah, Fernandez was pretty much saying flat out yesterday that Yamaha, in his opinion, are being too conservative in terms of how much power they're chucking into that new V4 motor. Of course, they will be looking for durability. This is as much about reliability testing as performance testing. But yesterday, through the speed traps, V4 was 10 kilometres down on the fastest KTM. At the moment, once again, it's 12 k's down on Pedro Acosta's RC60, which is no disgrace really. I mean, KTM is the fastest motorcycle in Grand Prix history. When your test rider is saying, come on guys, we've got to start taking more risks, we've got to start feeding more power into this V4. But of course, once you have more power, you just completely change the handling, the characteristics of the bike. It changes the electronic setup you need, engine braking, traction control. So yeah, it does seem that maybe Fernandez was just straight to Yamaha got to start winding up the whip a little bit, turning up the power on that V4 to try and really understand and unleash its full potential.
Because I guess they don't want the public embarrassment of the bike falling over, but that's kind of what testing's for ultimately. You've got to test things to the point of breaking to ultimately know what it's capable of. So Yamaha at the moment not able to truly understand that. Pecco Bagnaia now building up into this Malaysian Grand Prix weekend as he goes top on a 158.585. Pecco Bagnaia, a two-time Malaysian Grand Prix winner in the MotoGP. He comes to Moto2 championship here. He won a Moto3 race here on the Hinge. So this is one of Pecco Bagnaia's historically strongest circuits, and coming through Q1 later on, got his work cut out, but at the moment the pace is there for Pecco.
Coming back to Yamaha, this is not the time to be conservative. This is not the time to be holding back on the risk taking when you have got Fabio Quartararo making big noises about the fact that if that V4 is not competitive in the opening part of 2026, it will be au revoir at Yamaha as far as Quartararo is concerned. He won't be hanging about waiting for the V4 to shine, whether in the current 1000cc capacity format or moving forward in 2027 when it drops down to an 850cc configuration. He does not have time. He has been patient enough, he feels, with the Iwata engineers. Now it's time to deliver. He wants to be fighting for podiums and victories. There's two of our former MotoGP World Champions just acknowledge each other, just making sure that they weren't impeding each other on that run through the first couple of corners. But yeah, Yamaha are on borrowed time as far as Fabio Quartararo's patience is concerned.
There are might see him get a chance to jump in testing. It's the first we will see Top Rack, the Grand Prix time World Superbike champion, will be on that Yamaha M1 the Tuesday following the Valencia Grand Prix. So many stories worth following. We'll of course be covering that entire test live for you.
Sadly, a test which will not feature Marc Marquez on the 93 factory Ducati. I'm sure you're well aware on the eve of the Valencia Grand Prix. Sadly, the shoulder injury which Marc suffered a couple of weeks ago over in Mandalika, the contact for Marco Bezzecchi on lap 1. That is a season-ending injury for Marc Marquez. It's another long and painstaking winter rehab wait for the 30-year-old Spaniard. A date for your diary for Marquez fans, February the 3rd, 2026 will be the next time we see Marc on board the MotoGP machine. Alex Marquez, then after 2 falls yesterday, got himself briefed up to as high as second in this session. Currently, let's get an update on the 73 from Jack.
Yeah, of course, Alex didn't come and speak to the media yesterday. The team said he was just suffering with a little bit of pain from that first of his 2 crashes. Dr. Untitled Chapter, the medical director, was just waiting for him in the back of the box after that first run completed. A quick 30-second conversation between the two. A thumbs up from Alex, then a shake of the head, I imagine, to a 20 trainer who's got any pain or something of that ilk, and Dr. Chapter got his way back. So all of those concerns regards to any injury problems for Alex Marquez look to be completely over. He can get down to business
times for the 29-year-old Stanley, winner of the sprint here back in 2023, second that year in the Grand Prix as well. The Moto2 podium for the championship 6 years ago in 2019. So Sepang has been a pretty country ground lately for Alex as he looks to secure that second in the World Championship. What was a very prepared job. Just to let he damage the right-hand side of that new V4 Yamaha as Augusto Fernandez gets to work once again on some more cruising development miles. 2:09.42 is his best work so far.
We'll see his wild card once more before the season is over. He will be also in the Valencia Grand Prix. Of course, that V4 will be in the hands of all of Yamaha's riders and the Valencia test, where Augusto Fernandez will race it at the final Grand Prix of this season, so we will see him again in a couple of weeks' time.
First time he's not advanced directly in a Q1 since the Red Bull Ring in Austria, which just shows the purple patch in time attacks that the Italians have been able to demonstrate of late. He's putting together a really good lap right now, isn't he? Phillip Island, 6th place. He's in a real rich vein of form. First time in back-to-back Grand Prix. He's had top 6s on the RC213V. He's not had 3 successive top 6s on Sundays already in 3 years. And the Saxonry. So coming to 4, aren't they, HRC? They're back here testing again next week on the 2026 prototype with Aleix Espargaro jetting in yesterday from Europe. So Ferdinand Aldeguet unfortunately missing out on a direct place in yesterday, but quite clearly some part of this morning session. Alex Marquez looking strong despite the pain in the neck from 2 crashes yesterday, so I'm sure there's high hopes of a front row attack for both the senior riders coming up later on.
Absolutely, I think Sabina's impressed everybody in the opening 20 minutes of this one. For a walk for a long while with the medium rear tyre. Michele, it looks as though 15 minutes if he can get out of that, it's game on.
Yeah, of course, to take an advantage more, for sure to go straight to the 2. For us, we will start tomorrow race, and then we'll see.
Alex had a really tricky day yesterday. I think everybody had him down as the favourite coming into the weekend, but didn't get off to the best start. Just quickly on his physical condition, how he is. We didn't get the chance to speak to him yesterday.
Now, yes, we go back to bike 1. More confident, more feeling on that. Stay on the top position, I think.
You mentioned yesterday he didn't find that setting to get him really comfortable. Where exactly is he not feeling comfortable
With the rear tire, especially feeling, because here we can, in a track there is not so much grip.
Ongoing and could get better. Marini down to 158.646 on his last lap. That's only 600ths behind his VR46 Academy stablemate Bagnaia. This could be the best lap of the morning so far from Marini. Charging the number 10 Honda out of the final corner. Goes through the gearbox. Over the line he goes. It is indeed the fastest time of Sprint Saturday so far. 58.415 then from Marini, and he's quite comfortably now clear of the chasing pack. Almost 2 tenths ahead now of Bagnaia.
Inevitably, there's talk, of course, of Pedro Acosta becoming the 3rd consecutive winner in MotoGP, the 19th full-time 2025 rider to have won a MotoGP race, but shouldn't forget that Luca Marini could do that too. With the kind of form that he's demonstrating so far, there's some hope from Marini's point of view that he's not going to be the big victim of that heavyweight qualifying one coming up with both Bagnaia and Aldeguer in that last session, it is going to be a test for Marini to come through Q1. In fact, if you look at the top three at the moment in this Prix Factor 2 session, they're all coming up in Q1 shortly.
First Grand Prix victory right here in Sepang back in 2018 on the day that his then teammate Bagnaia won the world title. So the former Moto2 teammates are top of the pile here, 1 and 2 in this session. Once again, you get the brilliant first corner braking shot of Joan Mir with that rear tyre hopping and skipping all over the place on the factory Honda. Might look scrappy, but he's fast, and that's the most important thing as far as Mir is concerned. Both factory Hondas once again right at the sharp end. Marini fastest, Mir fourth quickest. He's got himself into those mid 58s as well. Aldeguer now in fifth. Quartararo once again in sixth. So having had 4 Japanese bikes inside the top 5 at the end of play yesterday, we've got 3 inside the top 6 at the moment. Marini, Mir and Quartararo. Zarco's inside the top 10 once again in 9. Zarco was strong yesterday, of course, second fastest. What about a cost? He's 10, having led the way on day 1.
Morbidelli, as you just saw there, is wrapped into second place now, so it's a VR46 Academy 1, 2, 3. Marini, Morbidelli, Pecco Bagnaia. Morbidelli, who took his worst qualifying of the season in Indonesia and then went 4 worse in Australia, 17th on the grid and only scored 1 point in the whole weekend. It was a miserable weekend for Morbidelli, where he struggled with instability all through the weekend. The circuit, of course, where he did laps here back in racing and testing on the same GP24, of course, that he's on now. Morbidelli looking a little bit more like his old self.
Another rider, it's the MotoGP World Championship right here in Sepang, along with Alex Marquez. Those 2 15-time received a Grand Prix World title back up here in Sepang. We're getting a 16th here this weekend, of course, with MotoGP and Moto3. That long done and dusted. And a thrilling and nail-biting title fight in Moto2 between Diogo Moreira and currently Manuel Gonzalez. Well, that looks like it might go all the way down to the wire in Valencia next month. Just 2 points splitting that pairing going into tomorrow's 17-lap Grand Prix Malaysia in Moto2. Yeah, Morbidelli was really out of sorts, wasn't he? Phillip Island in his worst finish since Portimao 2024. That was right at the beginning of last season. And of course, he was just working his way back to fitness, having had that nightmare crash pre-season Portimao.
Bagnaia 2025 in a nutshell, really. There, the rear snapping sideways as he tried to get the Ducati GP25 stopped for turn 4. Bagnaia might look more competitive, and he is more competitive. He's certainly in the game in the top 3 at the moment, just a 10th and a half off the pace of Marini, but it is still far from a comfortable ride for Pecco Bagnaia. In some respects, he might just be better off just not thinking about the feeding and just looking at the stopwatch. It's not looking as bad as it might feel on the bike for him.
And Ducati have been underperforming of late, understeer. That was the big issue once again yesterday for Bagnaia. It's when that rear tyre kicks sideways, and right at that point there, as soon as it gets back into line, it just chucks a whole load of weight over the front tyre, and Bagnaia then can't make the corner. He has to just release that front brake a little bit, not darting towards the apex. What used to be Bagnaia's super strength on board that Desmos Adichie is now one of his key weak points. Once again, yesterday, like we saw in the Phillip Island warm-up last Sunday, he came out of turn 14 in practice. We saw another clear indication of a big high-speed wobble, the instability which has been plaguing Bagnaia for so many races now. Just can't seem to get their heads around what is causing this issue and how they solve it. Of course, if they knew what the problem was, they would have solved it a long, long time ago with the Bologna Boffins inside that garage. Here's Ralph Hernandez there. He's got a lot of work to do, hasn't he, to get out of Q1, 16th yesterday. Haven't really seen Fernandez as a front-running force so far this weekend, but to be fair, we haven't really seen Aprilia as a front-running force so far this weekend, unlike they were in Mandalika in particular and in Australia last weekend. Let's not forget, 6 days ago in Australia we saw 2 Aprilias in the Grand Prix together for the first time in 2.5 years. That hadn't happened since the Catalan Grand Prix midway through 2023 with Lake Spargo and Manuel Vinales. They've hit a bit of a buffer though so far this weekend. No driving was the main complaint from all the Aprilias yesterday here.
It's fair to say that this circuit has often been the weak circuit from the Aprilia point of view. Of course, our hopes were raised by their recent hot streak, not just for Marco Bettini, but also, as mentioned, for Raul Fernandez and his victory in Australia. Of course, he's coming here on the back of consecutive sprint podiums, a third in Indonesia, a second in Australia, and it will take something truly heroic for Raul Fernandez to back it up with sprint victory here this afternoon. We go sprinting over 10 laps later on this afternoon, 3 p.m. local time. As always, we will be underway for our 20th TISO Sprint of 2025.
It's clawing way up to 10th in the World Championship now. Then Raul Fernandez, probably first of form. Bit of a moment, a bit of a twitch on the rear tyre there as a Collins powering out of that turn 15. He's now hard on the brakes. This is where Agura and Fernandez have both been caught out in the early part of this FP2 session. Quartararo still inside the top 6. Negotiates that tricky left-hander of turn 2. Let's have a listen to Fabio as he goes through. Turn 3 is where you really are having to manage the rear tyre late on, particularly over the 20 laps of the main Grand Prix here tomorrow. Turn 3 short from there, 3rd to 4th on that curve. You start to climb up towards turn 4. It's just under 200 kilometres an hour when you flip the curve and charge up towards 50 about 285 an hour. Just on that rise up to then the second gear, turn 4.
Quartararo's pace actually compares quite favourably against what everyone else is doing on the track at the moment. Quartararo's just on a 58.7, that's his 9th lap of the session. Aldeguer's also just on a 58.7. He's now 10 laps into his morning's work. Juan Mir's doing low 59s out on the circuit, so too is Alex Marquez. Antonio's also just done a low 59s, first lap of the morning on a 1:59.3. So if we are talking about genuine race pace that we're seeing at the moment and race preparation on that soft rear tyre, Aldeguer continuing to look super strong. But Quartararo not a million miles away either.
Marini fastest 8.415. Going to be hard work. It's going to be hard work to get himself out of Q1. But if he does so, he's looking like a strong contender for his first front row in 2 years. Qatar 2023, the last time we saw Marini qualifying time top 3. It's Aleix Margot will be busy out on track next week. 4 kilometres on the 2026 prototype RC213V, which he will hand over to both Mir and Marini at the Valencia test next month. There's confirmation on your screens of that best time from the league. 8.415. Excellent work this by Marini. If you want for the fact that he has Bagnaia, Aldeguer, Bettesecchi and Fernandez for company around him in that battle for those 2 places in Q2, I would have felt like he had a real good crack at getting out of that opening session. Of course he still does have, but there's some fierce competition around him. Probably being led by this rider, Aldeguer, who's getting back into the pit lane. Been a good sessions from Aldeguer. Close eye on his pace, very, very consistent. Alex Rins using the late tumble yesterday, practice at turn 5. Another section in the gravel traffic is Alex. This time around he's just running in hot into the final corner. Turn 14, he might have actually stayed on too long. I think the friction gravel's just listening into the decision to ride out of here. So yeah, looking at Alex, it's not one to add to his crash count.
Qualifying to very, very shortly to continue his very good recent run. He's been in qualifying 2 now, lost a couple of Grand Prix and top 10 finishes in each of the last 2. And there's a lot about how difficult the last couple of years have been for Alex. It's largely due to injuries than through any lack of performance from him. But his 7th place in Australia, remarkably, was his best Grand Prix result since he won the Grand Prix of the Americas at the beginning of 2023.
First time he's ever had back-to-back top 10s on board Yamaha. Fabio Quartararo comes back into the factory box. As we look at Polispardo, who just performing wonderfully, replacing Maverick Vinales in the 3K. The last 3 Grand Prix he's appeared in, he's ended Friday in 8th place, directly through to Q2 once again. That has gone bleacher. Still adamant he's happy being a part-time racer. He's got no interest, not entertaining any aspects of looking to come back as a full-time rider in the future. What about his teammate Bastianini, who was suffering once again yesterday, rather boringly, the words coming out of the Italian. He's once again back to this weird sensation that every track he comes to on a Friday, it's like he's riding the KTM for the very first time. He's struggling to find any confidence, zero confidence to push. And this morning up into 18th spot. He's one place finished day one.
And his riding style is fire on that case, which is why he was qualified since Barcelona. But he was on the podium. You haven't seen him on the front 5 rows of a MotoGP grid, which doesn't bode well for the Q1 session coming up. A heavyweight Q1, which we're all looking forward to. Jack's got some thoughts.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm excited for this Q1 session all year round, because I've been looking at the lap time for that session, and you can genuinely say Luca Marini, Pecco Bagnaia, Fermin Aldeguer and Marco Bezzecchi are all genuine podium and race-winning contenders if and only if they get out of Q1. It's a massive 15 minutes coming up.
It really is a huge 15 minutes for some of the riders who would have come into this Sepang Grand Prix. Fancying their chances. They're taking the forward with 25 points here tomorrow. One of them being Alex Marquez, who is already safely through, of course, into that second qualifying session. It was tight. Alex through by less than 700ths of a second with a 58.057. Michele Messina reported he wasn't really at his best after that crash yesterday, a fast crash going through turn 7 in FP1. We saw the lip of the curve sort of pick him and his Ducati up, and I think it just tweaked a couple of the muscles in Alex's neck, and it was a pretty uncomfortable ride for the remainder of day one. He has finished that morning session out here in 7th place, 8.752. Time session that one, it was just over half a second covering the top 10, less than a second covering the top 15, down from Marini to Miller. And that's the perfect qualifying boost, isn't it, for Marini coming up in a heavyweight stats It's the Italian that leads FP2.
Luca Marini, Frankie Morbidelli both setting 158.4s to 7,000 split them. Pecco Bagnaia third ahead of the second factory Honda of Juan Mir. The RC2 on 3 minutes flying so far. Fermin Aldeguer fifth from Fabio Quartararo, Alex Marquez and Marco Bezzecchi. Of course, another Q1 participant shortly. Joan Zarco and Pedro Acosta completing the top 10. Ralph Fernandez, who we saw lifting himself up to 11th ahead of Miguel Oliveira and Paul Espargaro. Fabio Gian Antonio, Jack Miller, Iodura and Brad Binder. Next up, Agora had a slow speed tip off at turn 1. Baschini 18th ahead of Lorenzo Salvadori and Alex Rins, who took the ground in the final corner right at the end of the session. Somket Chantra, Augusto Fernandez, who also had a fall, and Michele Pirro completing your field of 23 here.
So Marini looking into the top 4 before he comes up next in our opening 15-minute session here in Sepang. And the fight, the battle for our 20th pole position of 2025 is coming your way shortly here in Southeast Asia. Who will be on pole position in the Grand Prix of Malaysia in 2025? Luca Marini could be the one. He's P1 at the end of FP2 with the Italian in Q1 next. Welcome back then to the Sepang International Circuit. Welcome one and all to beautiful Malaysia. Time now to go qualifying in MotoGP. Up next, 15 minutes in Q1, which is going to feature a hit list of some big names. Luca Marini just led the way in FP2. Pecco Bagnaia was in the top 3 in FP2. Fermin Aldeguer, Mandalay winner. Marco Bezzecchi winner by last 2 sprints in our qualifying Grand Prix with last Sunday. Ralph Fernandez, they are all vying for just 2 places to get themselves into that second qualifying session. Last weekend on Sprint Saturday, Ducati for the first time in 99 Grand Prix did not have at least one bike qualifying on the front row of the grid. What followed the Australian Grand Prix with more troubles for the Borgo Panigale down there for the first time in 58 Ducati sprints, and Ducati were without a bike on the podium. There's going to be some contenders though on Ducatis for sure in Q1 and Q2. Look at the names though in qualifying: Morini, Bagnaia, Alvia, Aguirre, who's on a small tip on turn 1 this morning, Bezzecchi, Raul Fernandez, Binder, Oliveira, Bastianini, Chandra, Salvadori, Piro, and the Yamaha wildcard of Busquets Fernandez, who's back once again to play on the A1 V4. This one feels like it's tough to call. Marini, as we just saw, brilliant in FP2. Bagnaia, Alvia, Fernandez, the winners on this flyway tour in Japan, Indonesia, and Australia. All three of them then coming up in this only 15-minute session. So one of those three is going to be pretty peaked at the end of this Q1 because only two can go through. 6 times this year, Bagnaia's in the only qualifying session. He was a bit unlucky to miss out yesterday. So too were Marini. There was nothing in it really. Alex Rins was 10 for 58.1. Marini also did a 58.1 yesterday in the practice. He was out by just 600ths of a second. Tough weekend so far, to say the least. From the Ireland, Michael Bezzecchi with the sprint. Raul Fernandez was on the sprint podium as well. Those two also on the Grand Prix podium in Australia. They found it going a lot tougher so far this weekend in Malaysia. Unsurprisingly, Noah Aprilia made it right through to Q2 yesterday. The top RSGP was Aguirre, way down in 14th place. Aguirre, Bezzecchi, Fernandez all locked together on the timesheets, 14th, 15th and 16th respectively. So what can Marco Bezzecchi do? Has to get through this session. Field first Q1 appearance is the Balaton Park, a circuit appearance in Hungary. He has won the last 2 sprints, has Bez. In fact, he's won 3 of the last 4 sprints. That's been a big help to getting up into P3 now in the World Championship. Yeah, a message that we all echo. Get well soon, Mark. Come back, loading 2. Yeah, we wish the best for a long winter rehab for Marc Marquez. Unfortunately ruled out for the remainder of the 2025 campaign. That shoulder injury he suffered in Manly a couple of weeks ago as ended Mark's 2025 season. Yeah, 20 minutes time.
See their Q2 hopes ended and potentially see their hopes of winning the Malaysian Grand Prix. There are more potential Malaysian Grand Prix winners than there are places in Q2 out of this session. The evidence in quick practice 2, which we saw a few months ago, would suggest that Marini, Tony Aldeguer, Pecco Bagnaia and potentially Marco Bezzecchi too on a pretty much admittedly does not suit this Sepang Malaysia circuit all that much. They've all got the possibility to fight for at least the podium this weekend, but only 2 of them are going to start inside the top 12, maybe not even 2 of them.
Really wonderful qualifying in Phillip Island last weekend. As I mentioned, Ducati on the front row for the first time in 5 years. We had 2 Yamahas on the front row in Phillip Island for the first time in 4.5 years. The grid in many respects was turning upside down, wasn't it? Ducati have been so dominant in the last couple of years. 2023 and 2024, the top 6 on both grids were all Ducatis. Yesterday, just one Ducati was on the top 6. There was in P6. Fabio De Giannantonio will be in the session with his teammates. The 46 colleague Frankie Morbidelli, who did have a strong FP2 a short moment ago. Morbidelli was second fastest behind Marini. What turned out to be an all-Italian top 3 in this morning's half-an-hour session.
Raul Fernandez has come through qualifying 1 on 4 previous occasions this season. Last in Brno when he came through to 6th on the grid from Q1. Pecco Bagnaia, as mentioned, he's been a fairly frequent visitor to Q1 so far this season, but on the previous occasions he's only come through twice, although on both of those occasions he did translate into a place on the front row of the grid, put around and pole and Brno. Marco Bezzecchi, of course, the last 2 times we've seen him in qualifying 1, he's converted back to a place on the front row of the grid. It's become quite common in 2025 for the 2 that come through this qualifying 1 session to then qualify very well in qualifying 2 with the very recent track knowledge. So there is a massive carrot dangling above the heads of the 13 riders out on track in this Q1 session.
Aldeguer surely going going to be a big candidate for one of those top two places. He was the only rider at the end of yesterday's practice session that did not nail a clean time attack. There was plenty more to come from the Spaniard, winner of our Indonesian Grand Prix, of course. Top down the office yesterday before the 8th Miguel Oliveira, winding down his full-time MotoGP career, at least for the time being. A massive farewell party, I'm sure, coming up in his home round in Portimao in a couple of weeks' time as Oliveira looks to bow out in style. Inconsistent braking and a lack of grip on exit were two major issues Oliveira was dealing with on his Yamaha. You can say that the fact that still got the Yamahas they look to pour over data and try and find some answers to some big questions yesterday. Albion, this is the first flying lap of this session for the number 54 on board with Bagnaia, third in the FP2 session. No Bagnaia, what can he do about getting a place in that second qualifying session?
There's a bare minimum, surely you've got to be looking for laps in the 157s in this session. Best we saw yesterday was Pedro Costa's 157.5. We were doing mid-58s on third and fourth rubber earlier on today. So surely if you want any hope of being in this Q2 session in around about 25 minutes time, you're going to have to do at the very least a 57. Of course, with this track constantly changing, could we also see laps of the 56s before we're done?
Bagnaia is snaking around big time when he needs him on the braking zone, isn't it? But we take it aside when he was on pole position and converted that pole into a sprint and Grand Prix victory. There's been a lot of occasions of late where Bagnaia has not been able to get himself out of Q1. Balaton Park, 15th on the grid. Catalunya, a disaster, 21st on the grid. 28th on the grid for the time crowd in Lozano. 16th on the grid. That shocking man of the weekend. And then last time out, of course, back end of last weekend in Australia. So there's been some pretty dismal qualifying performances of late for Bagnaia. Retaining his only appearance in the top 6 in qualifying in the last 6.
Looked slightly wide into turn 9, but it didn't appear to slow him down too much. He's up by a couple of tenths on Marini at the same point of the lap. They will both come through the third sector. Bagnaia is quicker than the pair of them so far through this lap. He's better taken on Aldeguer, but it wasn't in the final sector where Bagnaia messed up yesterday, which puts him in this Q1 session. So Aldeguer's opening gambit of this session is in the 157s, and 57.6 is just the 10th off what it costed him yesterday.
57.6 from Aldeguer. Definitely coming. There's a lot more potential. He knew that he had a lot more to offer after a poor conclusion to that practice session yesterday. Marini's got 57 to meet as well. And Bagnaia is now second. Ralph Fernandez dropping to third. There's Aldeguer and Bagnaia after the first flying laps that got themselves into those two all-important top two slots. Tight to the top as well. Just 9 down to the seconds with Aldeguer and Bagnaia. Pretty decent chunk of time then. Back to Ralph Fernandez in third. Fernandez is going to need a couple of tenths at least to get himself inside that top two. Marini fourth, that second and fifth after that opening exchange.
Very early days of that qualifying for Marathon, where I had an absolute stick in qualifying on all sorts of issues. Q1 on a few occasions, of course, it was recently a week ago in Australia where he managed to navigate his way through. This is a weekend where Aldeguer feels he's got a big opportunity brewing if he can clear this hurdle. That
was in that brilliant Mandalika weekend for the rookie second place, which he then converted into a second behind Bezzecchi in the sprint, and then of course he ran right in the Mandalika Grand Prix on Sunday. This is Grand Prix, of course, last week, didn't he? Aldeguer after breaking his wrist. There are the controversial open angles of Tony Arbolino and Moto2 throughout. He's only making up a lot of time, isn't he? He was on the GP24 since Davis in Japan during pre-season testing, so not lacking knowledge on that Gresini Ducati. There's a bit of chatter, a bit of vibration on the front end of the back to the Honda. All neat and tidy though on the exit, wasn't it? Overline Aldeguer goes got down to a 157.6. Black Marini, despite the clear move on the front end of that Michelin soft front tire. Marini with a 157.536 has put himself on.
weekend where Manu Gonzalez needs to halt the Moreira momentum and begin to stamp his authority on this Moto2 World Championship battle once again. Certainly from the evidence of yesterday afternoon suggests that Diogo Moreira is perhaps playing catch-up to his chief title rival so far here. Lewis Sotheby and Neil Morrison with you, of course, for Moto2 free practice 2. And a very interesting session coming up. Of course, Q2 places are decided, but we'll perhaps get another window into of Mateki at the moment. This is perfect for Alex Marquez in his hopes of securing second in the World Championship this afternoon. He needs to outscore Betseki by 3 points later on today, not lose 5 points to back up by 9. At the moment, those two rivals that Alex Marquez is up against, both of them are getting knocked out in
The fastest time of the weekend so far, not by much, 157.536, just a whisker inside of Acosta's 57.559 yesterday. Today, so his last 6.5 minutes of the session. The double right hand and do start to build into speed. We flick left, down the hill, through turn 12, now through 13, 14, through to the next right out of turn 14. We should go back high on the big speed ball, didn't we? Practice yesterday. Here comes the lead at the moment, heading out for his second time attack. Leading away at 157.536 is the current pace.
So Fernandez is sticking out there. He's not coming to the pit, so potentially they're just using this as another public test session on board that V4 powered Yamaha. But it's the 63 who's our focus now with 5 minutes of this session remaining. So Pekka Bagnaia did get his timing a little wrong yesterday in practice, missed the checkered flag by about a second or two to get one extra lap in. He's going to have 3 attempts here. So too is Betseki, who's using some Yamaha V4 slipstream to get himself down to turn 1 as quick as possible.
That could be smart, really smart, that from Bez. Got right onto Fernandez's rear tyre and he would have got dragged down that long start finish straight here, Marco Betseki. That would have surely tense maybe. He's up through the first sector now, really towards turn 4, trying to get that Aprilia settled. Right here as he picks up the gas out of 4, where he was struggling yesterday with a bit of mechanical group. They couldn't get the power to the ground on that RSGP yesterday. Through that wonderful high-speed left-hander of turn 5, he'll now flick right through 6. There we saw a real fierce battle on the last year between Bagnaia and Martin in that epic start to the Malaysian Grand Prix 2024. Bagnaia is on, so too is Betseki. He felt that 57.536 probably wasn't going to be enough, and it looks like it won't be.
Traffic up the road, Marini gets out of the way. Hero, of course, from the other factory chicane. Bagnaia's way, so he jumps over to the left-hand side of the road. There is very little to choose here between Bagnaia and Betseki as he now approaches turn 12. His third sector will be completed as he rounds turn 13 and into 14. Bagnaia now 3 tenths up, and he won't be far away from the 56s here. Has he been able to pull a bit of time out on Betseki? He has.
In the top left-hand corner on your screens, tuck in behind Bagnaia here to help him get dragged down that start finish. But into turn 15 we go then. Bagnaia, surely this is going to be 57-1, 57-2 maybe. Surely it's taken from P3 to P1 in this Q1 session in Malaysia. It is a 57-1, a 57.190 from Bagnaia. Punches him up into P1. Let's say he did set his fastest time of the section. A 157.54 line. Crucially though for Bears, winner of our last two sprints, it was not enough to get into Q2 and he's backed out of it. Is that session over for Bears?
Well, at the very most, he's going to have one more lap. He'll get round to the finish line, time to start a final flying lap before the checkered flag comes out. So Aldeguer now back to 4th, but exactly 13 thousandths short of bumping Marini out of the top 2. Aldeguer and Marini now going head-to-head on their recent laps. So there might only be one Q2 place available for them.
Showing his class right now. That is a brilliant lap by Pecco. It's almost 3.5 tenths clear of any of his rivals out on circuit here in Sepang. Looking to get closer to the Italian are both Aldeguer and Marini. Good lap this, isn't it, by Aldeguer? This is going to be close. This will be very tight when he comes to the finish line and to complete this 6th lap of his session. Marini also looking strong. He'll be worried that maybe Aldeguer might be taking the 2nd place away from him right now. Agura's on a personal best lap as well as he looks to move up from 9th on the track house of Aprilia. Ralph Fernandez still stuck in 5th place, the Phillip Island winner. Aldeguer then over the line he goes. It's the best time of the weekend so far. He absolutely creamed that final sector. A 157.148. Aldeguer then up into P1. Marini does get pushed out.
Marini's in a poor 3rd sector, so he wasn't responding to Aldeguer. Aldeguer really doesn't throw that capacity into the final corner. There's a variety of lines into turn 15. Many favour the wider entry to really fire it out on the exit, but Aldeguer absolutely launches that GP24 into turn 15. Nothing that Marini can do from here is surely going to get him into the top 2.
Oh, Aldeguer has crashed. Aldeguer has crashed. That's his number 1 Ducati GP24 on its side and in the gravel trap, and in the gravel trap as well. Well, that could be a disaster. I mean, Aldeguer looks like he's going to go through into Q2 with a 57.148. He's only going to have one bike maybe in Q2.
The riders have been warned about this. They've been told in the last 3 minutes of qualifying sessions you can't restart your bikes. Of course, Aldeguer wants to do it because he wants to get that bike back for qualifying 2. He's got the yellow flags out and might just keep it in the top 2.
Really had the fastest 1st sector, so 2 was Aldeguer. That's why he's just been pushing that front end too much. Marini then has had to back out of it, and that's it. It's game over as far as Marini's concerned. Aldeguer then took his way from the scene of the climb of turn 4. A 57.148 from Aldeguer. He's going to get him through into Q2. Looks like along with Pecco Bagnaia as well, but they now have to ready the 2nd bike. So good news in one aspect as far as Aldeguer is concerned. It looks like he's got a place booked in the 2nd qualifying section. He's thrown that number 1 bike into Litter at turn 4. Is there going to be any late drama, any late fireworks? Keeping a close eye on Australian Grand Prix winner Ralph Fernandez. Nothing going for him. Could be a PB lap time when he tucks in behind fellow Aprilia rider Marco Bezzecchi. Bezzecchi's not going to improve either, so Bezzecchi's going to get that nightmare. He's going to make it 4 sprint wins in the last 5. He's going to probably have to come through from 14th place on the grid. He's Bezzecchi, which is his lowest qualifying since he was 20th in Aragon. Here's Ralph Fernandez then at the moment. He'll be 15th on the grid. I was going to reference Agura. We saw him put together his PB lap time when he made a big mistake in sector 3. But second goes wide, right out to the marbles. He's resigned to his fate here, isn't he, Bez? He knows that he's not going to go into Q2. The 14th place on the grid for the winner of our last 2 sprints.
Wisely there, Bezzecchi not attacking Fernandez. Personal best. Ben Higgins might just put Fernandez ahead of Bezzecchi at the good final sector. More than 25 to the right. Pecco Bagnaia is already having the deep, but he knows he's safe. Ralph Fernandez just a slot in behind Bezzecchi by a couple of tenths. So the Aprilias 14th, 15th, 17th and 21st on the grid. So clearly Sepang still the final frontier that they're yet to conquer.
Yeah, they were brilliant. They were untouchable in Phillip Island. It's been a miserable weekend so far for Aprilia. Throwing out the air coming on conventional route back to Paris. To get himself back in. He has then quickly got that number 1 Ducati back to the back of the garage. Are they going to be able to get it fixed up and repaired in time? About 2 bikes. Oh, he's crashed again.
Well, they
He
won't
has
repair it now.
crashed again. Yeah, you can see the frustration there from the mechanic. He almost cleaned out the team manager, McKay, the scene there. Well, that's just
Stop further damage.
Yeah, I think
That's on the floor.
topples over on the right-hand side. The gravity takes over. Look at the mechanic there, the cycling helmet. This going, mamma mia. Yeah, you can see the KC just about gets out of the way. Damage to the screen and the front fairing.
A little too patient there, wasn't he? To get that bike into the back of the box. He got right back. Of course, Q2 was going to wait for around 8 minutes. But Fermin Aldeguer, he was already down to 1 bike at the end of his qualifying session when he crashed. Then he might have just done further damage there and just some extra back on that second bike. But the bike started the session there. He's not getting used again. We'll see how much damage he can do to it.
That's the first match. The rider crashed at the back of the garage. Get the yellow flags in. You can just see there as Blue Camerini came up to turn 4. The LED panel on the left-hand side had pretty much just cleared right at the last second. And Mourinho had already rolled out of it. So a very, very eventful and dramatic ending to Q1 for Fermin Aldeguer. He set the fastest time of the weekend, a 57.148 cruising coming before he crashed at turn 4. And then in sort of desperation to get that second, well, the number 1 defender back into the garage, he fell off in one game, right to the back door. Strange, very, very strange. Let's try and get the old heart rate down right now, isn't he? Is Aldeguer. Some big names out. Luca Marini was fastest this morning in FP2, misses out. Betsecki not coming out of, or not in Q2 for the third time since the Aragon Grand Prix. Big ass for Bez to make it 4 sprint wins in the last 5. Raul Fernandez, Australian Grand Prix winner, on the sprint podium himself 7 days ago in the Philippines. In fact, on the last 2 sprint podiums, of course, wasn't he? Raul was 15th on the grid. And that's been a pretty tough weekend so far for the Iwali factory. Betsecki will be their highest starter in 14th place. That second might go back in the garage, haven't we?
Might not look like it, but Fermin Aldeguer was your fastest rider in that qualifying 1 session before the first of, I guess, 2 crashes we have to turn them as. One at turn 4 and one at the back of the paddock. Fermin Aldeguer on a 57.148 fastest lap time of the weekend. Pecco Bagnaia matched him to take second, so Luca Marini will be gutted. Whether the yellow flags ultimately cost him the top 2, we will never know, but he's third ahead of Marco Betsecki and Raul Fernandez, so they'll be on the pit road together tomorrow. The yellow Rivera is sitting ahead of Igor and Bradley and Real Bastini. Those particular KTM show no signs of making it. Untitled Chapter 10 from Lorenzo Salvadori, Kevin Giro, and Cristo Fernandez, who tweeted that section was more of a popular size.
Well, when he was on 2 wheels, Fermin Aldeguer was impressively fast, wasn't he, in that opening 15-minute qualifying session. He was still in the hunt for what would be a maiden pole position in MotoGP. He did it the hard way, though, after crashing at turn 4 late on, then crashing when he came back to Aldeguer, though, and Bagnaia still in the battle for the Sepang pole position here in Malaysia. Welcome back to the Sepang International Circuit. Welcome back to Malaysia. Around 20 and 2025, the sprawling motorsport complex of Sepang, cut into 2,300 acres, neighbouring the nearby Kuala Lumpur International Airport, a 50-kilometre drive away from the vibrant capital of KL. It is truly Asia when we head to Malaysia. It is, of course, our 25th Sepang International Circuit. And next on the agenda, well, let's hope we get a repeat of the fireworks that we had in Q2 here last year when Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin going toe-to-toe in their epic battle for world title glory produced one of the most thrilling Q2s that we have ever seen. More of the same, please, from the world's best riders as we Daytona in the Ducati Challenge in 6.
and begin to stamp his authority on this MotoGP World Championship battle once again.
Fans playing on the move fast here in Sepang. He is still in the hunt for the hat-trick. Down. Coming up next as that humidity rises here. So make sure we're 50 kilometres away from the capital city of Kuala Lumpur. Pedro Acosta then on the 37 bike, up to 5th in the World Championship. Strains are given around 20, and Acosta is still yet to find himself qualifying on the front row of the grid. The front row last time out in front of his home crowd that didn't feature thriller winner Jack Miller. He's got massive support here this weekend. So many Australians have made the trip to Malaysia for this 20th chapter of the season. So there is Aldegar. He's coming up to turn 4, which saw him on the floor right at the end of a Q1 session, which he did top, crucially.
Aldegar can't do now is crash again, having now been reduced to just 1 minute running for this Q2 session. He's walking a bit of a tightrope now in Q2. Of course, he's going to give it everything, he's going to give it plenty. Imagine this first run will be on slightly worn rubber, having these 2 tyres in qualifying 1, but he's going to have to try and get a bank lap on the board just in case something goes wrong later in the session, because he will not have another bike to use if he does drop it again.
Tow him right to his 29-year-old Spaniard Apexward, 8th in the Grand Prix here last year, one of only 5 top 10s in 36 appearances on board the factory Yamaha. It was Acosta that led the way yesterday though, 1:57.559, but a 57.1 from Aldegar to lead Q1 earlier on. We're going to be back in 56 as well. Final pole position, we do believe here today. What about Juan Mir? Well, he's already had a front row start this year. He did so second on the grid in that Japanese Grand Prix. Surprise on the front row. Front rows have been far between for HRC. They've only had 3 front rows all year. Honda, 2 for John Zarco and Thomas and Saturate, and just the 1 for Juan Mir in Pategi.
Well, in the absence of Marc Marquez, of course, out to injury, the king of qualifying out there in this Q2 session, that question is Fabio Quartararo, who took his 5th pole of 2025 week ago in Australia. Whatever issues he's grappled with on that factory Yamaha, although it didn't look too bad this morning in free practice, so we know the 2021 World Champion turns it on when the 15 minutes of Q2 get underway.
no doubt about Bagnaia. 2023 has runs him hot, going through the bottom of the turn 9. That's going to cost Alex a whole chunk of time. He was so desperate, wasn't he?
Costa now.
Yeah, Costa now gets through into 11.
Costa very nearly held up there by Alex Rins. He just about got away with it and gone through in the nick of time. Let's see what the Mercedes can do. That's Marquez closing in on Aldeguer. Is Aldeguer going to get out of the way? The answer appeared to be no. They were very close to each other there, weren't they? But Costa is quickly at the tail. Let me remind you, Pedro Costa is not starting at the front of the grid at all in 2025 yet.
This is where Costa nails the 75 yesterday was absolutely phenomenal in the final sector. Looking once again how hard he's attacking, pushing the front end of that KTM RC16. We're going to track the three Spaniards, or four Spaniards in the same picture over the line right now. The reference lap time is Acosta's 57.3 to 63. Straight out again then, first one lap of this beauty session. Acosta sets his personal best time of the weekend so far. 4/10 of a second he is clear of Frankie Morbidelli. There's been just a one MotoGP pole position in Acosta's career. That came in Japan last year. Well set though to fight for a second.
Quartararo's rolled out of that, he has. Looked like he was sitting up coming out of turn 11. So we want to put him on this lap. Zarco into second place now. So the same sort of top two we had yesterday afternoon. Acosta on a 57.3, Zarco on a 57.5. But I remind you, Aldeguer and Bagnaia both in 50.
Sector, did drag it, and now attacking hard on the brakes. All that Honda and shaking the rear, puts up into the air. You can see just how much traction he was getting as well on the front end into turn 9. Mia is all in here, isn't he?
Let's see what Acosta's up to. Might be getting held up by the clear out of his way. No, Acosta is still up through the third sector, of course, up against his own lap time. Mia now up behind Alex Rins, his former Suzuki teammate. He makes his way through the third sector. It's nip and tuck between the two Spaniards.
Mia has never had a pole position in MotoGP. I think it was right here in 2017 on a Moto3 bike. The last time Mia was on pole. As we're on board now with a caution, he's going to get a little bit of slipstream now behind the two positions as he charges towards the finish line. Acosta over the line he goes, not able to improve. What about Mia then? Surely this is going to be putting Mia on the front row. What about that last sector? Is he going up to pole? No, not quite. Mia though finds a 157.4, 5.5 already on the front row now. Flyway tour in Mategi. Up into second now once again. Two Hondas on the front row of the grid, and once again there is no Ducati inside that top three.
Best they're doing at the moment is the second row, fourth, fifth and sixth. But look at this from Fabio Quartararo. We might be about to see the first 156 of this strawberry weekend so far. Something went wrong for the 2021 World Champion on his first Q2 run, but he's got the second one right, all right.
Down he goes, hard on the brakes now into turn 15. Quartararo, so often already in 2025, has delivered some stunning performances in qualifying. On the power of the factory Yamaha, out of that final corner, over the line he goes. Quartararo, the 157.195, does indeed wrestle P1 away. I think that's actually the fastest time of the day so far. Aldeguer was slightly faster in Q1. Oh, Fabio Quartararo though. Wow, he's produced another show-stopping performance, hasn't he? Fabio Quartararo, poles in Jerez, Le Mans, Silverstone, and most recently in Phillip Island, on the course for another brilliant performance here. Q2 in Sepang.
Multi-gone in this Q2 session. Both Aldeguer and Bagnaia beat that in Q1. Aldeguer with a 57.148, Bagnaia 57.190. Pecco Bagnaia is now out on the circuit for his sole run in Q2.
Yeah, this is a pressure situation for Bagnaia. So often down here is being able to waft away any kind of pressure. This is a different beast though right now. For Pecco tries to restore some of the lost confidence on that very unruly times. He's coming back in the pit. I was going to say, just hoping, no, surely there's not being some kind of tech issue which is going to rob Acosta the chance of pole position, but he just filters back into pit lane. So Costa at moment second, which would be his first front row start of the campaign. He's been strong in qualifying of late without really being on that front row. Barcelona, fourth in Mategi, and fifth on the Prix and in Australia.
That KTM takes off like a greyhound, doesn't it? Down to the first corner. It's a long old run down to turn one here. Best part of 600 metres from the start line up to the first corner. So if that KTM is on the front row, you won't see it for dust down to turn one.
This is not a surprise to see Mio right in the heat of this battle, pole position and that front row. Fourth fastest he was yesterday. You just see the body language, the mood, the tone in his voice when he spoke to the media yesterday that it was a real fantastic Friday for the Moxley Honda start. That's that guy that is his first flying back on what is his only set of soft tyres in this session. Through long range right-hander at turn one. Slow speed there down the hill. Don't really get an indication just how sharp the drop is, the decline is when you go down through turn two. And then that power slide, turn three, up the hill into four. Q1, it's been a brilliant first sector. This would be something special, wouldn't it, from Pecco Bagnaia? Having just missed out on a place in Q2 yesterday, 12th the fastest he was. In a complicated end to practice, but just look how hard he's pushing that factory Ducati. You might have questioned his sort of mental strength, mental fortitude to sort of deal with the ongoing issues of 25, stroke PT24, stroke whatever you want to call that Ducati. Right now, but this is brilliant by Bagnaia. He carries this on through. He's going to start on the front row, maybe even in pole.
That Ducati in the front row of the grid he can, and because that Ducati is certainly the real tire snapping out sideways as he brakes, particularly into turn one. It's already getting into turn four, although he wasn't at least able to manage it and get the bike settled down by the time he arrived into the corner. He did a lot of his good work yesterday in the infield section of the rack. Third sector picks up now. He's in touch with Fabio Quartararo, but expect that Ducati to pull time back now on the long drag down to the final corner.
See that move on the front tyre there as he was going through 14 as it's been one front row the last 6 Grand Prix for Bagnaia. That was the pole position in Mategi. Him up now, going through turn 15. It all looks clean, it all looks neat. On the gas now on the 63, right down the final corner. Bagnaia is going on that front row of the grid. He's got pole, brilliant. He has nailed that final sector. That is an awesome lap for the double MotoGP World Champion. A 57.001 on the only soft tyre he has at his disposal. This is a high pressure situation, high stakes here for Bagnaia, and he's nailed it. He's almost 0.2 of a second clear now of Quartararo. We are looking at the Sepang pole hat-trick here for Pecco Bagnaia. He led Q2 in 2023 and in 2024, and he leads Q2 in 2025.
Exceptional from Pecco Bagnaia, but that final sector was all about Ducati versus Yamaha. Quartararo had only been an awful lot wrong in the final sector, but that Ducati's punched on turn 14 and then gets Bagnaia down to 15 and out of the final corner to the finish line. She's pure quicker, she's pure power versus the Yamaha. Quartararo is the second slowest rider in this Q2 session through the speed trash. In the end, Yamaha's running Quartararo enough to beat Bagnaia in that final sector. This, you imagine, is Bagnaia's final shot in this Q2 session. Once he's got his second time lap out of the way, the best will be gone out of those soft tyres.
We might still be having our 2-1 top two on the front row here because Aldeguer, who led Q1, looking really strong on that category. He's going to find out in sector one. It's Acosta, it's Pedro Acosta. Well, so many times in 2025 there are key moments on a Grand Prix weekend. He has dropped the ball, he's fluffed his lines, he's done it again. Acosta on the floor at turn one. That is his third crash of the weekend. We're having seen a hat-trick of poles here in Sepang for Bagnaia. It's a hat-trick of crashes for Acosta. Alex Marquez, Frankie Morbidelli, as you can see, on really strong laps. This is not over. We're surely going to see a 56 coming very, very shortly. Bagnaia's 57.001 under big threat.
I think Acosta might have restarted that. We'll keep an eye out for him coming through the first sector. Aldeguer not really launching the pole challenge yet. He's going to have this probably one more shot before the best is gone from his soft tyre. Acosta has come through the first sector, so he will be round for one more lap. He's 2 badly damaged.
He's put himself right under the coach though, hasn't he? Acosta at the moment he's on the front row. And no damage done after that Q1 crash. Damage might be incoming though. It might be inflicted by Alex Marquez. Frankie Morbidelli to Mir. Look how close Mir is to taking pole position. Albuquerque rocking up from 11th to 5th with a 157.51. That's still not as quick as he managed to get himself out of Q1. Alex then over the line he goes. As there's a pole lap from Alex. His second, he has pushed the Costa then off at that front row. Mir's lost time in that third split, as you can see. Mir now at the back of the second row in 6th.
Morbidelli goes third, so it is now all of a sudden an all Ducati front row, as if things have returned back to normal once again in MotoGP. Acosta back to 5th, and Cup becomes 6th here with Mir across the line. Mir doesn't improve in terms of position, it is the best lap time of the session. Mir stays on the back of Moto.
6th place then for me. I'm just giving a close eye on Acosta's progress, because it's going to be now or never for Acosta. By the time he gets over the line, he's going to get over the line as he's gravel dropping out the back of that KTM as he goes through turn 14.
Break into turn 1, just shoots ever so slightly wide, front end washes away. That's the second time we've seen Acosta have that crash already this weekend. He has just gone over the finish line as Acosta, as he knows he's still coming through the final corner now, just making sure he's free of gravel. He has now gone across the line with 23 seconds remaining. This is now his last shot.
Turns 1, turns 2, turns 9. And of course that has been Acosta so far. That is Acosta's mistake of this weekend so far. He has been pushed back down off the front row from 3rd to 5th. There is all the gravel getting dumped all over the circuit, dropping out the belly pack there. A whole bunch of stones coming out of that turn 14. Alex Marquez then. It's going to be close. Mir also. Well, we saw Mir lose about 2/10, 2.5 tenths through that sector 3 on the previous lap. He's right on the money once again through the first half of this Sepang circuit. Next, just follow Mir on the graphic there. You can just see him about to come through the 3rd sector. Quattararo trying to deliver something special later once again. So too is Acosta. Acosta might be getting away with one. Yet again, Mir just has no pace, no rhythm at all in that 3rd sector. So Mir, at best, looks like he's going to be on that 3rd row. Over the line goes Alex, who's going to stay in 2nd place. He has taken the check back. So too is our provisional pole starter, Bagnaia. Fabio Quattararo. Well, we might be seeing our first 156 of the weekend so far. Acosta trying to rescue the front row as well after his turn 1 crash.
Costa's coming towards the end of the 3rd sector now, but Quattararo is just throwing that Yamaha on the line in this qualifying session. This is where the Frenchman truly thrives. There is no one better in MotoGP right now on a single qualifying lap than Quattararo. Acosta has lost time in the 3rd sector. He will not be improving on 5th place. It doesn't look as if he's going to be bumped off that 2nd row, but it's Bagnaia looking to hang on to pole position here. Quattararo looking to take it away from him.
Well, how hard was he pushing? That bike was out of shape going down the hill through turn 13. This is awesome. But once again, this is spectacular by Quattararo. He now powers behind his teammate Alex Rins up towards turn 15. He's delivered something super special so many times on Sprint Saturday in Q2 and already this year. Fabio Quattararo. Look how hard he's on the entry, sliding on the exit turn 15, everybody goes, oh he misses out, you can just see there, on the front end at 15, the rear was spinning underneath him, coming out of that final corner. Quattararo then just off the front row in 4th place, Albuquerque then led in Q1. Grand Prix. Pecco Bagnaia is back with a bang once again in Sepang. Now that is much more like it, isn't it? Bagnaia, he does secure then his 3rd consecutive pole position here at the Sepang International Circuit. His 4th position number 27 of the 28-year-old's MotoGP career. He did it the hard way as well, having had to come out of that stacked Q1 session. Bagnaia then will lead an all Ducati front row. Bagnaia on pole position, Alex Marquez at 2nd. Of course, those 2 in the 2nd place in the World Championship. It looks like it's a formality in favour of Alex. Frankie Morbidelli on the front row of the grid, just his 2nd time in 2025. Frankie's first top 3 qualifying since he was also 3rd on the grid at Motorland Aragon.
3rd pole of the season. Pecco Bagnaia, whose yo-yo season
position again? Can you sum up the journey you've been on over the past 5 weeks?
Yeah, we start to get used to this, but I would like to lose this kind of. Anyway, we never gave up to work in our way, and Pecco improved a little bit. During the practice, morning was a very tired, so I think it is a usual result of a kind of work that usually we do. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Yeah, never give up, keep fighting. That has been the message coming out of the Bagnaia camp as he's hit the rockers over the last few weeks. I mean, just look at some of his recent qualifying performances. Quattararo, well, it was a small section where he was getting killed on that back Yamaha. You saw how hard he was pushing. He almost lost the front going into turn 50 on that final after the rear tyre was spinning up on him coming out that final call. This was the moment he dropped down the hill going through turn 13 on his last lap. How hard's he pushing? You just know. Up on the brakes into turn 15. If he just had a little bit more horsepower, look how unstable Yamaha was there on corner exit as well. But just like he did in 2023 and in 2024, it's Pecco Bagnaia who reigns supreme in our Malaysian Grand Prix qualifying. 15th on the grid in Hungary, 21st on the grid in Catalonia, 16th on the grid in Mandalika, 11th on the grid in Australia. So much side has been Pecco Bagnaia. We keep saying it, he's back. It's very, very hard to call whether he is well and truly back, isn't it? Bagnaia. Credit to Frankie Morbidelli as he completes an all the captain front row. It's the second front row start for the 30-year-old Italian this season. It's the 14th time we'll see Frankie line up on the front row in MotoGP.
Turn 1, Morbidelli going side by side. Acosta will certainly attack him from the second row of the grid. Let's say it would have been a lot worse for Acosta after his crash at turn 1. He fell back to 5th place, but suddenly a front row challenge falling by the wayside once again for Acosta, who makes another huge slip off.
Disappointment, I think, as far as HRC are concerned. Juan Mir, who was volunteering in that hunt for the front row at one stage, he's going to head row 3 in 7th place. Johan Zarco was second fastest in time attacks yesterday. Well, he's only 9th on the grid. Antonio was Zarco on that 3rd row. Alex Marquez, then with the 2025 run-up, he finished the sprint with a lead of 100 points or more over both Italians. Bezzecchi and Bagnaia. Bezzecchi, of course, Q1, he's going to be starting way down the grid in 14th place. 3 crashes then already so far this weekend for Acosta. So like he might have got away with one there, though, that crash late on as he was building up for one last time attack at turn 1. Acosta on the session was best of 157, 1.63. Captain inside the best time in P1 yesterday. He finds himself on the second row with Quattararo and Aldeguer. Yeah, an acknowledgement from both Alex and the Grazini team of that brilliant job by Bagnaia as he comes over to speak to our Italian team colleagues. For once, we're very happy. Pecco Bagnaia, there's not been too much to smile about of late for the Italian star. And taking aside, as we mentioned, it's been brutal. It has been really tough going for Bagnaia. Look at Mategi, the victory there when Marc Marquez is through the last 4 he's not finished. Frankie Morbidelli on the front row of the grid for the first time. Aaron Rodgers the second time this year, and the Italians are Jack.
Frankie, second front row of the year, and I imagine after a difficult weekend in Australia last time out, there's huge relief to be on the front row and give yourself a great chance here in Malaysia.
It's a great bounce back from the team. We worked very well. And here yesterday we improved our feeling throughout the day, and today we were able to have quite a good sensation on the bike. The second front row of the year, I'm really happy. As I said, the team worked very well, and yeah, it's a great start.
Good luck this afternoon.
Not just him, but the Racing Mandalini, 17 lined up. 25 not sure like the fast Frankie we know and love. A 157.159. On the front row. Just the second time started. Third, Aragon. Fourth on occasion. Sprint over the line in the Grand Prix. And we get here then from a 2023 sprint winner here. Sepang sprint winner this afternoon will secure second in the World Championship for Alex Marquez. Second on the grid with Jack.
Alex, we know how much you love this place. I think we all expected you to be on the front row, but it hasn't gone to plan so far this weekend. It was a good game yesterday, so how much of a bounce back is that right there?
Yeah, it's like everything is happening to us this weekend. I mean, we had some solutions on the ball. Later on, you know, I'm not feeling 100% with the bike, like the past, or you can see it on here. So still I'm not feeling 100%, I'm not feeling ready, but you know, the rhythm, you know, was not bad on this morning session, so we'll try our best on the sprint, and then we'll see where we are.
Great job, brother.
Thank you.
13th front row start secured of the campaign for Alex Marquez on board the Grazini Ducati. A 157.017. And of course, with his brother Mark absent from this Malaysian Grand Prix and sadly absent for the remainder of 2025, we'll see that coming up the posting session or posting interviews. Alex not out of the game in terms of score and our shot when we head to Valencia in the middle of November for our final Grand Prix of the campaign. We'll see the numbers in terms of that one up shortly, but what a performance. What a brilliant Q2 display that was. Pecco Bagnaia out of Q1 at a 57.001. That continues this phenomenal recent qualifying record he has here at the Sepang International Circuit. We'll be hearing from Pecco very, very shortly. He had a smile on his face, Davide Tardozzi, and a thumbs up to me as well. I think Tardozzi himself was moving our patient time with Pecco, but it is the pole hat-trick. 2023, 2024, now 2025, pole in Sepang. Pecco Bagnaia with Jack.
Sepang, as this roller coaster season continues, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. Can you just sum up the journey to get back in the pole position once again?
Difficult to explain, and like you said, it's a roller coaster, so I don't want to be. I'm happy, but I don't want to. Yeah, I know that this afternoon will be freaky. It's very hot, so it will be important to remain calm and try to understand the situation. But this morning we did a good job. We tried to convince and helped a bit. Not just me, also the Ducatis, because yesterday we were more in trouble. So improvement is an improvement, and we just need to continue like this.
Great lap, well done.
Yeah, a fantastic lap, thanks Jack. Congratulations once again to the factory, the Ducati team, and to Pecco Bagnaia. We are coming into his 20th round of the campaign with Bagnaia notching this solitary victory. That did come though from his most recent pole position at the Mobility Resort Mategi, and that's an embrace between two senior figures at Ducati who always stood by their rider. Ducati no stone unturned to try and get Bagnaia back to his brilliant best. There's his wife Dementia, his sister over there on the right hand side of the picture as well. Companions as Pecco Bagnaia is back on pole in Sepang.
Pole position number 27 in MotoGP for Pecco Bagnaia. Alex Marquez, who will look to secure second in the championship this afternoon. Second, in fact, if he finishes there with Bagnaia the sprint winner, that would also be enough. Frankie Morbidelli third, second from road here. Fabio Quartararo did everything right until the final sector. Had to settle the fourth. The Costa after a crash fifth from Almaguer, who came through Q1. Nietz, Gian Antonio Zarco on road 3 ahead of Rins, Miller and Cole Espargaro. Luca Marini will be gutted to have missed that in Q1. Some late yellow is certainly didn't help. 13th ahead of Marco Bezzecchi for Tom Aprilia, and Ralph Fernandez also row 5. Oliveira, Agura and Binder next up. Bastianini, Chapter and Salvadori on the 7th row of the grid. Michele Pirro and Augusto Fernandez. BMW M Award then, 39 points is Marc Marquez's advantage now. If Alex Marquez can qualify in the top 2 in the last 2 Grand Prix, he will take away the keys to that brand new BMW from Marc. Fabio Quartararo will finish in all probability the year in third. Pecco Bagnaia up into fourth place now after his third pole of the year.
Well, you can't keep a good rider down for too long, can you? As Pecco Bagnaia silences some of his critics here in the Grand Prix of Malaysia. Half a job, of course, he wanted to build on that pole position. Last time he was on pole, completed the win double, didn't he? Victorious in taking the Sprint and Grand Prix in Japan. By the double MotoGP World Champion. 3 successive poles here in Malaysia for Pecco Bagnaia as he chases more sprint success in Sepang.
Most fearless riders, the fastest runners, the most forward-thinking manufacturers. This is the hunt, and there can only be one. We ride to the edge of possibility. Our riders and machines are always first on the throttle, last on the brakes. The riders, athletes with hunter mentality, pure physical fitness, talent and skill. Ultimate precision and absolute performance. Unrideable to mere mortals, tamed only by our riders. We ride to the edge of and more drift. The rear wheel drifts, the fastest laps, the final corner moves. Visionaries working tirelessly not just for the win, but for the future of our sport, our technology, and our planet. Their eyes not only on the checkered flag, but on the ever-moving finish line. We ride together as one global racing family, with the riders, the teams, the engineers, the technicians, the broadcasters, the truck drivers, the cooks, the hospitality staff, the sponsors, the many individuals all united in the goal of glory, with everyone, the weekenders, the first-timers, the forever fans, the never-misser flaggers, the home-track faithfuls, the destination circuit holidayers, the day trippers, the Sunday sofa viewers, the ones we've known forever and the ones we haven't met yet, cheering from the stands or the street, wherever you are, wherever you come from, we are one garage. Be part of it. Sit to sit. It's time for the 2025 MotoGP World Championship.
Good morning and welcome back to Australia. Welcome back to Phillip Island. It's been a Bezzecchi blitz here though in Phillip Island. Despite the mid-sprint mistake, he wins for the third sprint in the last 4 Grand Prix in dominant fashion of Ralph Hernandez, who does make it back-to-back sprint Saturday podiums for Trackhouse. Marco Bezzecchi, 3.1 seconds clear off Hernandez. He will serve a double long lap. It's lights out, we're racing in MotoGP here in Australia. It's a superb shot from second place with a nice sprint with Marco Bezzecchi. Watchalong, like yesterday, is going the wrong way. Acosta is using that lightning speed, the KTM on the run down into the Dua corner. Acosta immediately up into third place, but it's Bez that leads in a Aprilia 1-2 once again.
Well, of course, like I said, for Quattraro, he has at least limited the damage somewhat, and this is perfect for Marco Bezzecchi. That's exactly what he would have wanted to achieve on this first lap. Get out front, pull an advantage out, so the long lap's not going to cost you as much.
Acosta, brilliant. He's got the inside line there, using every single pony underneath him there. Acosta goes to Fernandez behind him.
Going straight to the Belcher, and that would be a fast-on crash at Dua corner. Yes, surely now he's going to go straight on into the long lap penalty. Ralph Fernandez.
Well,